but I knew I was on it.
Yeah.
I knew I was confident. I knew I was flying. I wanted to desperately wanted to have success. So when we had that and Brighton, I really took it. And horrible night for me because I lost half my teeth as well, if you remember. So Dick Mackey, the physio, found my teeth on the pitch, and I could tell you every goal probably and what it looked like. And sometimes, like if I'm struggling to sleep or whatever, I'll play it through again, which sounds mad, but it's a bit like is it counting sheep?
So, welcome back to Life for Kitman. We're joined today by someone who scored 71 goals in 3 seasons for Swindon, went on to play for Ipswich, Exeter, Wycombe, Luton, just to name a few of the teams out of spell in Scotland. Now a TV, radio, podcast, everywhere you see EFL. We're joined by Sam Parkin. Welcome to the pod, Sam.
Thanks for having me, mate.
That's all right.
Mate.
We're going to go straight into five-a-side.
Oh, mate.
We do this every time.
Right, okay.
All right, so however you want to set them up.
Yeah.
Whatever formation you want.
You've done that right, haven't
there's
you?
your pen.
I'm having one defender and that's a stretch. Do you want me to talk you through it, yeah?
Go through the players first.
And
then we'll talk about afterwards.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. There's still a decision to be made in my head.
Is there?
Goalkeeper, I think he's got a Swindon link. I haven't had a chance to look up this morning.
Go on.
Tony Warner.
Oh, yes.
Tony Warner.
Yes.
Liverpool.
He was here on loan, I think.
So I played with him at Millwall.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a more detailed answer in a minute, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I have, is it got to be first team games that I've played with these people?
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I can
Let's write them on the board and then we can go through it.
interpret it how I want, yeah?
Yeah, however you want.
All right.
I mean, we've had one player choose Eden Hazard.
Right.
I think he gave him a bib once.
Okay. These are players I've played with, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, and I'll do the abbreviation. You happy with that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to make an
for sure.
exception, and I'll
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
JT.
Here I'm going to have, and this makes my decision easier. I'm going for all internationals, I think, maybe minus the centre forward. Familiar?
Carlos Edwards.
Familiar?
No, go on.
All right. I'll finish it off.
John McGinn, right.
And then I always get this one wrong. Is he a? I don't know. I've done some in caps and some not.
Don't worry about that.
I'll do him in caps.
No worries. Yeah, unreal.
All right.
Come on with some goals against us.
Yeah, let's go through them.
Okay. I've got a problem with a goalkeeper.
Go on, why is that a problem?
There's no one, with respect to all the fellas I played with, who jumps out at all. At all. And I've done obviously 11-a-sides and 5-a-sides and stuff like that previously. So, first games ever, my debut was alongside him. They won the league title that year at Millwall. Presence, incredible. I would imagine in a 5-a-side he'd probably come out here somewhere and shoot as well. Had a ridiculous
Fair
strike.
play.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Extra goals, yeah.
Character, quite intimidating.
Yeah.
All those kind of attributes.
Where's he now? I've seen him somewhere.
He's a first team coach somewhere,
Yeah,
or a
I've seen him
goalkeeping coach somewhere. Yeah.
I can't think
So,
where it is.
I mean, I'd mention Reece Evans here, just because Reece was an outstanding young goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Incredible potential. And when he came here, I think he was a brilliant shot stopper.
England under 21s
Yeah.
for a bit.
And we had I was very fond of him, do you know what I mean? Because we knew each other from Chelsea. And we had that kind of affection for each other, but we used to wind each other up as well.
Yeah.
So I like that competitive element every day with him on the training ground.
Yeah.
So I'd mention Reece there. There was a lad at Northampton called Keith Welsh, lower league goalkeeper, but very good. There was a few I played with older guys during that period. Martin Taylor at Wycombe, I think he was at Derby, like in the top flight. He was another good one. But I'd probably just plump for him just for, probably all those attributes.
Perfect.
I was going to have Carlos there.
Right.
Let me speak about Carlos first. I've tried to go for people that had the biggest impact on me.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper apart. Carlos was at Luton when I first went there.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago international.
Right.
I think he played in the World Cup. Went to Sunderland. He was an incredible footballer. incredible. He was at Wrexham actually when I played against him for Swindon a few times.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, because they had Carlos Edwards and Paul Edwards on the other side, and I think Paul was here.
Yeah, Paul, come here.
Yeah, so Carlos was just a ridiculous athlete up and down the right-hand side.
Yeah.
He had a couple of games when I went to Luton, and honestly, he was getting the ball there and just taking on whole teams, ripping down the right-hand side and having a shot or putting it on my head.
That's what you want.
He was astonishing, and he went to Sunderland and won the league with Roy Keane.
Yeah.
So I was going to have him there because he did play as a defender, but I'm just going to bend the rules a little bit because I would say John Terry, even though we're talking youth team reserves.
Yeah, Chelsea youth, yeah.
I played probably 100, 150 games with John from the age of 12, 13.
Right.
I would say the best player I played with by a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to go in there really. I mean, I'm cheating a little bit because I could have like Zola and, I played reserve games.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Poirier, Lasso, Melchiot, Viali. I probably had a I probably had a game with all of them, but I think John, because he's rated.
John Terry.
He's rated, but
And the career just...
people don't really understand
How good he is.
how technically good he is. I mean, I used to obviously be out there practicing our skills after training and what have you. Left foot and right foot, 70 yards, diagonals. You could land
Drop
it in a
it on your
square.
foot, yeah.
Drop it on your foot, on your chest. He's incredible, and in a five-a-side, just an animal as well. So Kevin Foley was another person I thought of. Remember Kevin Foley? Luton, Wolves, probably 50 caps for Republic of Ireland.
Right. Okay.
Incredible, consistency. So he would be in the conversation for defenders. And then, John McGinn, played with him at St Mirren. He was 18. We won the League Cup that year. He come over to the first team pitch that summer. Been with the youth team. When the youth team have he had probably a game against non-league opposition in pre-season and did well. Got fast-tracked into the first team squad. He was the best player every day in training. And then,
could you tell that he was probably going to go on to have the career that he's had so far, or not?
Not to that extent, maybe. But we played Celtic in the League Cup semi-final that year.
Yeah.
And he played in a two-man midfield against Victor Wanyama and Scott Brown, and he ran the game.
Midfield, isn't it?
He ran the game at 18.
Yeah.
And he looked like he looked so messy. The worst black boots you've ever seen. Basically, looked like being dragged through a hedge backwards when he turned up. And you think, who on earth is this young kid?
Yeah.
I think we're probably quite separate from the youth team as well. So you probably hadn't seen him before.
Yeah, of course.
And then he turned up, and he was just incredible. But incredible attitude, lovely, lovely boy as well. Lovely family. And I think that comes across now, even though he's in the Premier League and earning bundles of money and, scoring goals, playing massive part for Scotland. He's just such a normal lad. And again, desire and defensively and get you a goal and what have you. So I think it's got a nice balance.
Yeah.
I agree. And Neil Harris up front. He loved the goal against Swindon.
He scored some goals against us over the year.
He loved the goal against Swindon.
I reckon I could probably do a 5-a-side team from that Millwall side. I mean, we could have Tim Cahill, we could have Stephen Reid.
Yeah.
Defensively, we might be struggling a little bit. I can't think of anyone. Lucas Neal. Remember Lucas Neal?
Yeah, Australian.
I mean, that side was incredible, and I was so lucky that those were my first games. So Neil, I reckon I was there for 3 months tops at Millwall that year.
Yeah.
He must have got a dozen goals, minimum.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. He was scoring 2 goals in every game. Honestly, he missed a little bit with injury. Every type of goal, and it was obviously prior to his illness.
Yeah.
So I didn't play with him during that time or after. I just think I don't know how much that affected him, and I wouldn't want to talk out of turn here, but he was incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, his goal scoring and his desire, his appetite for goals.
Hungry.
Best finisher I played with, and I played with him my first game. I can't think of anyone who would come close. I think Moon's here, Troy Deeney I had a year with. Troy was a good player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him on that level as a finisher. That's another forward player. Danny Invincible was incredible on his day.
Yeah, on his day.
Do you know what I mean? But that was 1 in 3, 1 in 4. it was kind of the beauty of Danny. Sometimes he was just untouchable. Other times it wasn't worth having him out
That
there.
goal against Peterborough where it drops
Yeah.
over his shoulder and he hits it left foot.
Yeah,
top
he was
bins. Joke.
an enigma, maverick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was brilliant. But yeah, Neil was incredible. Do you want a gaffer?
Yeah, ideally.
Don't need me to answer it, do you?
It's going to be Andy King, isn't
Kingy, innit?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Kingy just for the extracurricular. You know what I mean? The day's out. I was going to have Jim Magilton in there for that, but Jim got rid of me at Ipswich. Jim was going to maybe be in the midfield. I would have had Carlos there if I wasn't allowed John, and I would have had Jim Magilton there because, like, you know, the people you grow up watching in the Premier League and stuff like that.
For sure.
And you boys, you know, we know each other relatively well. I'm like football mad, football nut when I was a kid.
Yeah.
To play with people like Jim Magilton, John Sheridan, I played with Alan Johnson. I played with the Sunderland Alan Johnson in Scotland. Like just guys I've watched on the TV.
Of course.
And I love Jim, and my mates loved Jim because Jim was like a beautiful footballer, Jim Magilton. Yeah. But would organise the night out for my mates as well when they came up to Ipswich.
Nice.
So Kingy's going to have to take that mantle, and obviously I'm sure we'll get onto it. But Kingy was just probably the most influential person in my career.
Yeah.
Big reason for the reason I'm sitting here really chatting to you.
Of course. And a kit for the team to play in.
Well, I had it. I had it in a bag ready to bring down today. This will be the last time I say it. So I did dig some shirts out and I forgot them. I've left them at the front door. So I played in the worst era of Swindon kits. I think you guys would agree, yeah?
You did.
I'd agree with that.
There's one we've got in the cupboard that we haven't hung up because it's so bad.
Yeah, yeah.
That DGI thing, that big.
But more just the era of, like, I reckon I must be around about the same size. I'm a bit heavier now, but I don't think I've shrunk. The size of them, they're enormous.
They were massive. Yeah.
I just can't get my head around it. Even, you know, the shirt I wore on my Millwall debut was just like astronomically big. So when they started slimming the shirts down and tapering them a little bit towards the end of my career, I started enjoying it a little bit more. So I like the Joma at Exeter, my last season, sorry. But in Scotland, the League Cup winning team with John McGinn was Deodora sponsor, Deodora kit make.
Oh,
Anyone that's ever played in Scotland always seems to say that their favourite kit was from a Scottish team.
Yeah,
We've had that quite a few times.
Yeah, every time.
Some rascal
There's always a
kits
Dundee
up there,
or a
isn't there,
Dundee
to be
United.
fair.
I think I was Joma at St Johnstone.
Yeah.
And maybe Joma as well. I had a little spell at Queen of the South, which was good fun. I think they were Joma, but then St Mirren, when I suppose the design was changing and the fashion was changing, and black and white stripes.
Nice.
Well, my Scottish club would have been Dunfermline because that's where my mum's from.
Right.
Before I went up, but I've definitely adopted St Mirren now because I had just such an amazing year there. I loved it. Really good kit. Yeah, and
cool.
Obviously that would have been the kit that old McGinn wore as well.
And we'd have had it hung up. Someone forgot it.
Do you want me to put that Kingy up?
Yeah, go on, stick him on.
All right. I'll put him in caps.
Yeah, it
Made
needs
a
to
mess
be.
of the rest of it.
Well, what a team, what a gaffer, what a kit. Unbelievable. So, moving on from the five-a-side, what we really want to talk about is your time at Swindon, because, obviously, we're in Swindon. Swindon Kitman. For me, personally, that was kind of when I started coming with the lads, started coming to all the games, like, on the bus and that. It wasn't like a family thing, because I was sort of 15, 16, and I was starting to do my own thing. And I just remember, obviously, your debut was a bit of a joke. Like, you would come in, and before that, I think you'd been on loan at Northampton.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, when you sign a new player, you're looking for, like, anything from their fans and that. And you had scored a few there, but not too many. And you're thinking, oh, this could be a bit of a punt. And then you score a hat-trick on your debut. We're 1-0 down, you score 3, and we win the game 3-1. And you're thinking, oh, here we go.
So I was thinking as well, yeah.
But what a season that was, really, for you personally.
Yeah, it was amazing. And despite, you're probably right about the sentiment from the Northampton fans, absolutely, because whenever I meet anyone from Northampton, whether it be a fan or someone in the media, they're always a little bit sheepish around me initially, because I probably got a bit of stick that year. But I think it made me probably grow up quite fast and understand the mental pain that you sometimes had to go through and the capacity you had to be able to deal with being a first team player. It was a tough year, but I always say, like, I was out of the team initially, wasn't playing well, and I actually wrestled my way into the team at Northampton.
Yeah.
So I look back on that year as a bit of a success because I recovered, and it took like a change of manager. The manager hammered me a few times, a guy called Kevin Broadhurst, who I've seen subsequently, and I've told him this story and said, you know what, I despised you at the time, but my goodness me, it was the best thing for my career. So I came here probably, with a point to prove, but also learnt quite a bit about the industry and myself that previous year. So I came with the bit between my teeth, definitely. And the thing that helped me was the pre-season, because I came with that attitude that this is going to be a success. Yeah. And I had a few different clubs interested in me, but I wanted to be relatively close to home, and I wanted to give it another crack, probably. Yeah. And what helped me was the pre-season. I mean, I rediscovered that goal-scoring touch. Yeah. And it's just confidence and the people wanting you. I'd gone from a place where the people were thought there was a bit of that. Oh, he's from Chelsea. He's going to get the ball, rip past three people and stick it in the net. Well, you guys will know that wasn't really my game. If I got the supply and people around me, it could work.
You had that in the bag though.
Once against QPR here, mate. Yeah. So that was a massive kind of probably 5 or 6 weeks leading into the season, and that probably paved the way for what was to come. Really. Yeah.
So you mentioned that pre-season. Like, what was it about that pre-season that really?
The respect from the other lads, like wanting to be part of the group. You know, like wanting me to be part of the group, and I just thought that the guys immediately respected me as a player, and during pre-season you get the opportunity to have a night out, let your hair down. We're away for a bit. Like your personality comes across a little bit. So I got to know the rest of the players really well, and then I thought, like, you know, they are excited about the prospect of me being their striker. Yeah. And I had that the previous year. So I think it was those ingredients, and then you put the pre-season games into the mix as well, and I scored in every game. Yeah. I mean, and you guys know me. It's not blowing my own trumpet. I remember every goal. Yeah. I could tell you every opposition team that pre-season.
Honestly, it's amazing. Yeah. What you're going to say?
No. Just that how people remember this stuff. Like you get some players that don't, but we speak to Charlie daily, obviously now, and he remembers every goal, who assisted the goal.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that.
Yeah. We just find it baffling. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Charlie's like this. I can remember how it felt. Yeah, I can remember where on my foot I made contact.
He's very similar.
I mean, that pre-season, I could tell you every goal probably and what it looked like. And sometimes, like if I'm struggling to sleep or whatever, I'll play it through again, which sounds mad, but it's a bit like is it counting sheep? Yeah, people do. Yeah.
Who did we play in that pre-season?
We played Newport on the Isle of Wight.
Right.
We played Hereford.
We always play Hereford.
We played Wimbledon here.
Yeah.
We played Sporting Heehor.
Oh, yes.
And there may have been one other, which if I reveal that, I am a proper anorak, aren't I?
Something in my head saying Peterborough, but I don't think it was.
Nah. I'll get it after the show and you can put it in somewhere in the comments or whatever.
Yeah. So while we're on that topic, obviously you talking about your goals then, obviously your first year you got 23 goals, second year 24, and then your third 23. I think that's right. That's what we found anyway.
They're a bit different on the like cups and the football league trophy and stuff like that.
Comps.
That's what we found anyway. What was your favourite goal in your time at Swindon? Would you say? Or even a top three if you want.
Top three I could do easily. Yeah. Top three I could do. I'll give you the number one in a minute, but definitely there was a goal at Wickham in the playoff season. 3-0 win. Yeah. I charged down a defender, ran through, and it was a lovely camera angle. I remember. I knew
some good pictures, that one.
I knew it had good bend on it, but then I watched it back, and it started quite far outside the far post and bent it back in. So definitely that one. The QPR one here is obviously probably my best goal, and I think it was my 10th of the season, about Christmas time.
I think so.
In the league, anyway. Here, obviously the club that I supported as a boy. First and only time I took my shirt off. It's probably the goal I show people. Do you know what I mean? If people say you were a footballer, who did you play for, or whatever. Yeah. It's the goal I'd get up. Yeah. One other. I can't think really. There was 2 here against Hull in a good win, 4-2, and there was talk of me moving to Hull.
Right.
Junior Lewis was there. Remember, Junior came here for a bit, and we struck up quite a good friendship. So I remember playing out there, and Junior was in my ear going, "Peter Taylor wants to sign you. Keep it up, keep it up. You'll be on the big dough. Come up to us," and all that. And I bent one in at the Town end in that game. I just remember that game as playing well, but yeah, there might be some other ones.
I've got one that you haven't mentioned. Leeds away.
Yeah. Sorry, that'd be in the top 3.
Because that's what a goal that was.
Brilliant team move, and yeah, that's an incredible goal. I'm not sure I meant the finish. I was just trying to dinked it a little bit.
It looked like you meant the finish.
I took my first touch away from goal, and I was just trying to put it back in the opposite corner. So I meant it to finish in that corner, but it got a little bit loft on it.
Yeah,
it was a bit weird. But that was I would go as far to say that could be my best ever performance.
Yeah.
Probably my best performance for Swindon.
I'll tell you what.
Could have been a good
That
night as well.
Yeah. It's a bit story in my career, that.
Is it?
A little bit, yeah. Early career anyway.
Yeah.
In terms of some of those big nights, and we just couldn't get over the line.
Oh, that was so close.
Here is absolutely the story at Swindon because of that and Brighton. 2 games we should have, won comfortably.
Yeah.
But that was an amazing night. I loved that night, and I remember it so vividly because the Saturday after we played Peterborough here.
Yeah.
James Milner scored.
Yeah.
And I got the second, or the other way round. And the next morning, Joe Royal and Neil Warnock were on Goals on Sunday, and they did a little segment about me. And I thought, it's getting
all right.
It's getting serious now.
Yeah, getting.
I thought cool, I've done a season and a half of it now, and I haven't got close to, being linked with clubs, and then all of a sudden I was like, before it was just, the lads would say the odd bit, but then you think, oh, this might actually be happening, I might,
you scored a lot of goals.
I might have a chance.
Just on Leeds, just one last bit. What are your thoughts when you see Robinson going up? What are you thinking there? You're thinking, it's just the keeper.
I'm probably thinking, I've got my man.
Yeah.
Probably, Radaby was playing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Junior?
Rocky Junior.
Yeah, I think he played in the World Cup for
Smith.
Brazil. I've probably got one of the
Something.
centre halves, so I'm thinking I've got my man, so I'm probably thinking someone's going to pick him up. But then you don't.
Nobody.
Yeah, well, your rationale is
because everyone's got their own.
Yeah,
man.
you ain't got anyone. There's no one to pick him up, so he's going to be spare. So we for years we wind each other up about it. I think Grant Smith used to get a bit of grief. Reevesy probably, who I bumped into the other day on a train, by the way, at the weekend. Bizarre. Yeah, it was quite odd. Nice to see him though. For years we took the mickey out of each other, but I think it was here especially because I felt a responsibility, and I was so desperate for success here because I knew that I was not that I was never going to get to these levels again, but I knew I was on it.
Yeah.
I knew I was confident. I knew I was flying. I wanted to desperately wanted to have success. So when we had that and Brighton, I really took it.
Yeah.
Really took it to heart. So I was just like, I didn't blame anyone because that wasn't my character, and it wouldn't have been right. I just felt desperately disappointed because we played so well.
We were so much better than them.
So good.
On the night.
Yeah.
We were
played some great stuff.
Unbelievable. 2-0 up. Ian Hart scored, didn't he?
He scored a free kick, didn't he?
And then obviously Robinson scores and it goes to pens.
Yeah.
And
he scored a free kick? Yeah, he did, I think,
yeah, he did, yeah. I mean, obviously Andy Gurney's goal that night.
Oh, amazing.
I've never seen
the only one, right?
like it.
He took 170, that was the only
that was the only one that went in.
The only one that ever went in, but took all of them. Because everyone was scared of him.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You were there, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, I was there.
I've watched the videos, but...
Because then, obviously it was like a Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So by the time the game was all over, we then had to get back, and we all had to go to work the next morning. We're getting back at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
I had a mate in Leeds, my best mate from home, lived in uni in Leeds. So it was perfect for me because I had 4 or 5 good close mates at the uni.
Yeah.
Come to the game. I stayed up actually, but we probably couldn't find a bar that was still open because it went to extra time and penalties. But I used to stay up and I used to love it, and it gave me that. You wouldn't probably do it as much now, the way the game's changed, but Kingy would just say, like, just stay up, have Wednesday off, make sure you do Thursday, or even on a Saturday, have not preferential treatment, but we'd have Mondays off loads.
Yeah.
during that era, and I loved it because you go up north and I'd have that motivation on my mates are coming today. I'd have it at home games, but away from home, anywhere in the north of England, I'd have 4 or 5 mates come, and I knew that, I was 22, and you're going out, and they're your proper mates from home.
But also, like back then, you could do that.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything else. People just taking photos of you and sharing them everywhere.
So and so was out on Saturday.
Yeah. It wasn't a thing. It didn't exist.
Yeah, it was word of mouth a little bit more.
Yeah, so
obviously,
it was like,
I remember the lads here, all of the teams lower leagues, it would somehow get back to the manager, but it would more just be word of mouth, wouldn't it? You wouldn't know the details, the gory details. Yeah.
So then, we mentioned it briefly, but Brighton in the playoffs.
Are you going to go there, are you?
I want to go there because I need to do it for myself more than anything. That was, well, we lost the first leg.
Yeah.
1-0, Leon Knight scored.
Yeah, we didn't really turn up that day, did we?
No, it wasn't. And Leon Knight scored. Leon Knight always scored against us.
No, Leon didn't score.
Did he not score?
Richard Carpenter scored, I think.
But Leon Knight is
Deflected.
always a pain in the bum.
Well, Leon would have been... Where's it gone? Leon would have been... If I'd have bent the rules a little bit...
Yeah, in the team.
I was a pain in the bum playing against him.
Oh, 100%.
But coming through with him at Chelsea, he was...
Oh, I didn't realise you weren't.
Yeah, he was a year younger than me, maybe 2. But we played a lot together in the reserves. And we had a great partnership on the pitch.
Yeah.
Leon was phenomenal as a young player. Phenomenal. I would have hated to have been a centre-half playing up against him. Because the thing about Leon...
Every time he was playing, you thought there was trouble.
The thing is, he's an exceptional player at that age. From about, 17, maybe younger. I mean, I knew about him from about 14, 15.
Yeah.
They told me about him at Chelsea. So from about then till about 25, he was incredible. And the thing about it as well, he'd have a tear-up with you as well.
Yeah.
He was strong, he was feisty, and he was incredibly both-footed. Very good player. So yeah, if I was doing all in, he'd be close actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was obviously in that game. I think Chris Uwalumu played as well.
Yeah.
In that game.
Did Bobby Zamora play? Because Bobby Zamora was that
I
year.
think Bobby was after that.
Was he? You sure?
It was before that. He'd gone
Season
by then.
before. Yeah.
I think he'd gone to Tottenham. Maybe. I think he went straight from Brighton to Tottenham.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So because he got them promoted out of what was then Division 3.
Yeah.
He went up with them then. And
Yeah, because it was before the rebrand, wasn't it?
I think he'd left maybe that season.
That
but
season,
go on, ask me a question because I'll just go on a tangent about Brighton and start. Just
No,
how
I-
it felt, or
Just like
happened?
my memories, right?
Yeah.
We've obviously gone to the game. We stood outside. We were there a bit early, and
did you get the free?
the heavens
anoraks?
just opened.
You had the free anoraks on,
I
right?
couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
We didn't. When we left home, it was sunny. It was a lovely day. It's middle of summer, isn't it? It's playoffs. We get there. We're in shorts and t-shirt. The heavens opened, and obviously at Withing, there's no shelter anywhere. So we were soaked, and then we're all in that terrace 8 miles from the
Crazy
pitch.
stadium that was. Wasn't
It was just a mental stadium. Mental.
Yeah, not good for you lot, but I actually enjoyed playing there, not that night, because I used to think the opposition apart, it was like being at school or something. I used to think it's a school cup final, and then you didn't feel.
It wasn't like being in a stadium and
No,
intimidating and
I'm
any
sure the
kind
Brighton
of...
lads felt that as well.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a game at that level.
Yeah.
So I used to quite like playing there for that reason. I was quite an anxious young lad, you know what I mean? So anything to make me feel comfortable and what have you. So I used to there. We played really well the second. We probably should have been out of sight.
Yeah.
I think probably the magnitude of the occasion probably got to us a little bit. Maybe you snatch at your chances. We've been such in the ascendancy, we found it difficult to get the goal.
Yeah.
But when I got that horrible goal, that scrappy goal,
Yeah, scrappy.
and then Roy scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
And
That was a great finish under the keeper.
We thought we were there. And very similar to the Leeds game. Same feeling really in your gut, you know what I mean? Like real sickener. And horrible night for me because I lost half my teeth as well, if you remember. So Dick Mackey, the physio, found my teeth on the pitch, and
That's fantastic.
my experience that night was losing on penalties,
You get your teeth smashed out.
devastated, straight to hospital in my kit. And no, not to ramp it up, but I think any end of the season, irrelevant of what's gone on, relegation, promotion, playoff defeat, football lads are pretty good at just letting go and having a drink or whatever that night. probably the only time I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Nothing.
And the boys that are watching this maybe will say, oh, you were in the bar, Sam. I was. And I had 2 Smirnoff Ice for a straw because I couldn't have a drink. And I went to bed and it was horrendous, the feeling. Horrendous.
Just couldn't believe it.
Adi Vivash was obviously out of the picture by then in terms of like playing.
Yeah.
But Adi said some amazing words to me. I always remember them. Get emotional. Yeah, amazing. Like looked after me that night and was like, you're going to have...
for sure.
And people watching this will say you didn't have an amazing career afterwards, which, yeah, I probably didn't achieve what I wanted to. But Adi was like, just like wrapped his arms around me and I was like crestfallen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Said some amazing stuff to me. So I've always remembered that. And like Adi's quite a tough character.
Yeah.
He's coach now, obviously at Coventry, doing amazingly well. People would say he's quite dour. Maybe he's a Swindon guy, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
No, he's quite a serious AD, but I've always had a really good relationship with him, and he probably won't know that, but that's the reason, really. You know, I've always like really respected him.
Full respect.
Yeah,
because,
properly, because I was like, I was devastated. Only partly because I had a beautiful girlfriend and half my face was missing. And I was going to have to see her 24 hours later. But yeah, it was that was just horrendous. And obviously, my story would have been so different because I'd stayed.
But
I'd say, we don't know.
We
what it's
obviously
like, but
experienced pretty much a similar thing. Like you were obviously at the game doing you were on the TV at Port Vale, and we obviously lost on penalties and sort of were in the change room and had that experience. And I think it's probably we say it quite a lot. It's probably our favourite experience in the job,
which is mental,
which is weird to say, but at the same time, in the change room after, it was a feeling that we've never sort of had.
And what were you like? What were you guys like? That 12 hours, 24 hours arc. Could you
honestly,
would you just say that's the season done?
No.
Onwards and upwards.
We had to come in the next day and we all went upstairs and had some food together and stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone was just devastated.
Yeah.
It was
devastated because
and it must have taken at least 3-4 hours to get out. Well, at least 3 hours to get out the stadium because all the fans were still outside.
Yeah, it was all going off, wasn't it?
Obviously, everyone didn't really want to move.
It weren't a great experience for me either, but not obviously to the extent of you guys. But it was that was sore. But it's what I was just thinking there when you're talking hoops. It's what you work for, I suppose.
100%.
And it's not really for you. Like obviously, I'd love to have gone to the Millennium that year.
Of course,
for me.
And we'd have won the final, by the way.
Yeah, and that'd have been amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of those lads have become mates of mine at Bristol City, so that would have been great fun as well. But it's for your family and your mates. That's what it's for.
Sure.
And that's what on the pitch in those last few minutes at Brighton, I wasn't thinking about me going to the Millennium, and I was thinking about my mates and my family.
Yeah.
Like those lads I just spoke about, my best mate, my mum, like getting them on a bus going to a final. You know, like their mate, their son. Like that's what it's for, really.
100%.
So that's why the Leeds game was different. That was more.
It was a one-off.
Yeah, that was more. Yeah, one-off game.
Not
team.
expected.
We deserved it.
Yeah.
Like one day we're going to be on the back page of the papers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Millennium thing would have been one of your best days of your life.
100%.
You know, even if the result hadn't gone your way, to take all your mates and everyone that supported you and all that, and have, I probably would have been able to. Well, no, I wouldn't have been able to. But I was going to say, you'd have made you'd have made the most out of that day, and probably even with a negative result, possibly been able to raise a few beers afterwards. Or whatever.
Because you got to an end.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
People
about
say
the
it's worse
players.
losing in the final. I don't know about that.
No, I don't know, because like we said, there's always the chance that it carries on after that second leg and you have that game.
Yeah.
But then right at the end of that game, it's done.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's not like that's the last game when it's the final. You don't know. It's like just done. You're done.
Season
you're going
done.
home. You're finished.
That's it.
And from our point of view, because things have got to be prepped beforehand, we've already done a load of prep for if we win.
Yeah.
What we're getting in, what the lads are going to wear.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And then it doesn't happen, and you're like, it's killer.
Yeah, it is like missed penalty, pitch invasion. It's just like any other game, really.
Yeah.
On the coach, or we stayed over that. Do you know what I mean? Though it's just like it's over in an instant, really.
But we've had no luck in the playoffs. Swindon as a club, have we? So.
Well, not since '93.
No. Well, yeah.
When we got to the Prem.
Yeah.
Apart
since
from
the
that,
2000s, it's been.
should we lighten the mood a bit?
Yeah.
Should we have a little
I
game?
know I nearly started. I don't know why that got me emotional. Sorry, chaps.
Because it matters.
It's,
Because people
yeah,
care.
yeah. It's
You know what I mean?
but it's those little memories, isn't it? And like that, you know, it's quite vivid, and also I think it's important to say because they like your career goes by and you don't maybe remember those little bits of advice or people being kind. It's not really a kind. It's not a particularly kind world. So like it's I suppose it's a human story that now even when I see
100%.
some people that have passed on a bit of wisdom or whatever, you'll always remember that.
Yeah, for sure. Right, let's have some fun. We're going to do our little kit quiz. So I'm going to show you some shirts.
All right.
Over the badge has got our faces.
Yeah.
And you've got to guess which kit it is, what team it is. All right?
All right.
They're all on the iPad. We got 30 seconds.
Random kits, yeah.
Random kits.
Oh, this
for you
isn't my
to get
strong suit.
as many as you can.
You know, boots is my strong.
We'll
suit.
talk about
We'll come on
boots.
to boots.
Yeah,
Not
we'll
now.
get there.
Like when I was playing, I was
Yeah.
like 10 pairs a season, 15 pairs a
Was
season.
it?
Oh yeah, I was like miss a good chance in the bin. Yeah.
We'll get on to that.
We'll get on to that. You ready?
Where am I looking?
You've got 30 seconds.
You
I've got
can
them all
turn
on
that
there.
Give you the team.
Yeah, tell me the team. Ready? Go.
No idea.
You can pass if you want.
Is it New
No.
York City?
No.
Millwall?
Millwall.
QPR?
QPR.
Accrington?
Yep. Tough that.
Oh. Spurs?
No, Birmingham.
Dortmund?
Watford.
Oh. Blackburn?
Blackburn.
City? Start to finish?
5.
And then those.
I wouldn't have got that. Who's that?
That's Oxford.
Is it
Yeah.
this season?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not interested in that.
Not interested in
5
that.
you got? 5.
5 was it?
Yeah.
Is there a league table?
We should have one up there. We haven't done it yet.
We
but
haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
think
not
it was
too-
the worst. I think we've had one or. I think
No,
we've had a 4.
it's the worst.
Is it?
I think Gav got a 6.
Oh,
That's
was
the
Gav-
worst.
I think so.
What was the first one?
Carlisle.
Yeah.
It looks like a bus seat, that one. I think.
Yeah.
Mate,
Looks like on First Great Western,
it's-
doesn't it?
For whatever reason.
Yeah, we need to get a
it's
league
not-
table.
Shirts on your
When
thing.
you're a
Well,
kid, it's your bag.
I should have gone with older shirts.
I
shouldn't I?
weren't really sorry because this is your thing, but I wasn't really. Yeah,
In the shirts.
Some lads were like, you know, the new fabric and all that start of the
Yeah, yeah,
season, like
yeah.
buzzing. Balls as well. Balls are ball to me. It was always about the boots. Yeah.
And there's so many balls now. We're getting 3 different balls a season.
And the lads like when it was FA Cup week. Oh, I've got FA Cup balls in training.
Yeah.
Delighted. I was like, still going to try and bend it in the corner. It's just the different fabric.
Should we just talk about kit
Yeah,
now?
let's go into
do it.
We might as well go into
Yeah.
that now. So you just mentioned there you 10 to 15 pairs of boots you went through a
Yeah,
season,
minimum towards the end.
which I'm quite surprised about. 'cause
Towards the end, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Not when I was young. Yeah.
yeah, some lads now even some of our lads maybe only 3 or 4 a season if that. So yeah, so 10 or
George
15
McEachran's only
pairs.
got-
Yeah. Has he?
Yeah, 2 pairs.
I'd say towards the end about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, John Terry, to go back to him, you know, he was a different pair.
For Bournemouth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Warm up, first half, second
Yeah,
half.
that's,
what-
that's
I
great.
knew
I
that.
can't believe that.
And I think they were obviously they're specially made, aren't they? The
Yeah,
top
yeah,
boys.
sure.
He was like a 9 3/4 or something. Ridiculous.
That's mental.
So yeah,
What
it was
did you wear?
I started here. I've always loved boots, always.
Yeah.
Since I was 10, 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I tried everything. I loved the Lottos for a period
Yeah.
in my teenage years. Obviously, I wore Umbros quite a bit at Chelsea. I was never really into the Adidas.
Did they provide you the Umbros at Chelsea?
Yeah,
'Cause
we'd
it was
get
Umbro
pairs. We
sponsored
get
at the
with
time, wasn't it?
Speciales, obviously,
Yeah.
which I loved. You know, if you got the early models were really soft with the
Yeah.
floppy tongue.
The kangaroo leather and all
My
that.
favourite ever pair was a pair of Mitre Pro Premiers.
Right.
And I think Mark Hughes wore something similar. And I had this pair. There was a shop in Wimbledon. I can't remember the name of the shop that I used to go to. And it had all like the one-offs and just quite a unique load of boots. And I bought this pair and I wore them maybe half a dozen times. And I was like banging in goals for fun. They were like, you know, you could wrap them up into a ball. The leather was so soft.
Was it?
Honestly, you could. And I left them. Someone nicked them from school. I was devastated. Went back to that shop, just could never find them again. There must have been a limited edition or
Yeah.
whatever. But the best boot I ever had. But so I, for some reason, when I came here, I just went, I'm just going to get a pair of Copas and World Cups.
Yeah.
It was weird. Just like start of a new season, probably starting afresh. and then obviously the goal started flowing. So I wore World Cups that first year in games. And I remember the pair I had and the studs got really worn away. And I wasn't one for really changing the studs. You know, it was Rog at the time. You'll remember stories about Rog. Oh, just giving the Kitman like boots to change the studs. It wasn't really my bag.
I had that today.
I don't know why. Not because Rog weren't happy to do it, by the way, but generally you chaps are all right with that. You know,
we do that daily now, so
part of the brief, isn't it? But I remember just the studs wearing away. Like they were just like gone by the end. And then I got a bit carried away the next season. I started wearing the Mercurials.
Right.
But I got big feet.
Right.
And for me,
really wide.
Not particularly wide.
Oh, the Mercurials are so narrow.
Yeah, I've got they're not particularly wide, my feet, but big. I was probably an 11 in a Mercurial. Right. But because I'm a big bloke, I liked having really light boots.
Yeah.
I didn't want really, a bit like the shin pads.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want big shin pads because I wanted to feel light and be able to get around. So that was the thought process behind the Mercurials.
Yeah.
I loved Ronaldo as well, Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So I had a few of the R9s as well. So then here was about, probably started about 5 years of me wearing the Mercurials. Sorry. Yeah.
Nice. And so shin pads, was there any particular shin pad or was it just...
You'll be able to help me on this because I can't remember the sportswear brand, the Pro Pads.
Were they not Umbro?
I don't think they were Umbro. No. They may even been the brand.
Right.
Pro Pad. They were just little, like the boys wear now, probably, the little slipping ones.
Yeah. Back then, you used to have the ones with the big ankle thing on that went under your foot and the straps around the back.
I would have done probably until my first year, maybe as a pro, or maybe when I was in the youth team, and a mate from school gave me these Pro Pads.
Right.
I want to say they were Diodora or something, but it's a bit hazy. But he gave me them, and I wore them for years.
Right.
Years.
Yeah.
They were like the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know why. Like, just everyone was like, "Oh, he's got a Pro Pad." Like back at school, and I never had them. I used to wear the big cricket pads, like you were just chatting about. And Ed, my mate, gave them to me, and then unknown to him, probably. Well, he did know, but I mean, I wore them for like 3-4 years.
Mental.
Yeah, but pads. No, I wasn't bothered about pads, to be honest. I was a bit like that though. Like I didn't want to be clumsy. Yeah. So for that reason, I wanted something really small. Yeah. I remember playing with a lad who, like some of the boys, so laid back, playing in that Scotland B team side that I played in when I was here. Peter Sweeney, remember him? Played for Millwall, good left-footed player. Went to Leeds. Right. Went to Leeds in that weird period when they chopped and changed managers. Yeah, that was forgot his pads on an international trip. Just cut up a pair of like shreddies the morning of the game and wore a cereal packet.
We have seen similar stuff now. Yeah. There's like a foam thing in the medical bag, and they just cut a bit out. Yeah. Stick it in. Job done.
Yeah. Yeah. And would the refs check that or?
I don't think they can. I think so many people just wear.
Just do it.
Such little ones now. They don't even.
Sometimes they like put tape around it, just to make it into a more solid kind of thing, and then put it in. But yeah, we call them the homemade shin pads.
Surely that's the thought process, though, right? That you don't want to be laden with any extra baggage, really.
You want to be able to move, and you want to be as light as possible. So
I mean, in an ideal world, you just wear those socks, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, I would.
Just football socks, all the way up to your knees.
Socks,
Well, Harry McCurdy obviously just cuts his socks in half, and they only come out
I think we probably all feel like that to a degree, but it's the rules or what you're perceived to have to do.
Here's a question, I suppose. Back then, would you ever have cut the foot off a sock, or do you just wear the full sock? Because now they cut the feet off.
So just have the white sock underneath?
So it's the white sock underneath, and then just...
Obviously, I think we've only got one player now that wears long socks. Every other player wears...
And Puma actually send us the socks without the foot.
Really? Yeah, I would have done probably.
Like a cuff around the bottom.
I would have done. I liked actually wearing. I wore 2 pairs sometimes. I don't know what the thought process was behind that. Probably, maybe the fabric. Maybe the fabric of the socks though were a little bit slippy inside your boot.
That's why they have grip socks.
Yeah. So it would give you. I'd actually wear, like an undersock that you. The only time I buy them, the little trainer socks.
Oh, yeah.
The only time you buy them at Gatwick, right? When you're getting your miniature toothpaste. And some some trainer socks. I used to wear them for a
Underneath
period.
the-
yeah. And there was another spell here where again it would have been Rog. I never washed my tuber grip,
Right.
you know, over my pads
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
scored.
Yeah.
And then I'd bring my own pants because I had a thing about that. And then I had a couple of night vests because I was into the mercurials and I was
Yeah.
like, Nike man now. Now I'm getting carried away with myself. So I wore the vest as well. So I had a few little items
That
that
was
were
sort of a superstition.
Superstitions,
Did
yeah.
you have any other sort of mad like superstitions on match days or like anything on training days?
I was big on Red Bulls actually for a bit. I was big on like It's probably picking it up from other people.
Yeah.
I was quite, no, I wouldn't say impressionable, but I think we all are to a certain degree. Of
course.
Yeah.
You know, if you see like a Premier League player doing something,
You want to do the same?
yeah, I'd have got a little thing, a little bee in my bonnet about that, and so tuber grip was one of them.
Yeah.
And they used to stink because I don't think I washed them either. I just thought like we've served me well in the last game. They'll do again. But superstitions. Yeah, I was still big on superstitions now. To be honest, like if I've like done a good commentary, I was going to say if I've been nice to my family, like if I've done a good commentary, I'll do the same things.
Yeah.
I think that's probably.
It's the way some people are, isn't it?
It's a mental thing.
We have some that don't have any at all, and then some people have 5 or 6.
And a product of probably the environment as well.
Yeah, and it
I know
probably
what works for me.
doesn't make any difference, but in your head, it makes a difference. So therefore, you're more confident. So therefore, it is making.
It's
a
like
difference.
we do some things we sit on the same table for breakfast every Saturday morning at the same time. It's not really a superstition, but it's just
part of the routine.
Yeah, it's just more of a habit, I guess.
Yeah, and like a sandwich filling or whatever, you just think, well, I'm just going to do what I did when we banged someone 4-0 the previous week, stuff like that. So I remember like obviously Reevesy was the one everyone used to wind up. Mention Reevesy again because he'd have like his kit all immaculately laid out. Obviously, you boys would do it now, but he'd have like boots, pads, tuber grip, tape, all there, and it's just like lads, it's just red rag to a ball. Everyone's just taking everything, just kicking his stuff all over the place. And he's obviously got his broad Scouse accent coming back from the toilet after he's been for a pee, just getting ballistic every match day. So just give everyone give everyone the ammunition to just cause carnage. So, but yeah, I was probably quite big on quite a few superstitions then. Yeah.
Who was on the music when you were here?
I wouldn't even think we had any.
Really?
No. I can't even remember there being music on in there.
Interesting.
To be honest, it was like it was after that. I think I'd say that. Early noughties, it wasn't really a thing. Although there was
It's quite big now, really, and like people are quite.
Yeah, they've got to listen to the same
People, I
songs.
would
in
say
the
that's
same
quite a
order.
bit of a superstition for quite a lot of players these days. It has to be the same person on the music.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I can't recall ever having music here.
Interesting.
To be honest, I remember a few clubs they used to do the thing where you'd pick a few songs each, and they put it on an iPod or whatever.
Yeah.
But that it'd be so eclectic the sounds. You'd get like obviously some European music, and then you'd have someone wanting some rock, and then you'd have someone having R&B. It was just like a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
So I'd probably prefer if you were playing with someone who was really into it. I'd be like, just up to you. Just take.
Did people Did people have earphones in or listen to their own music?
Probably just started. Yeah. I used to find. I mean, I've got a bit of an eclectic taste myself, but I'd probably listen to stuff that I liked. That probably, it didn't hype me up. It probably calmed me more than anything. Yeah. So stuff that I really liked. Probably I don't know. Like it probably give me that a bit. What I was talking about. During the Brighton game, like to think about people, to have a purpose. Why are you going out there today? More that like, and I think every lad probably thinks about their nearest and dearest when they're going out to the pitch, and it's not a bad thing to focus on. I think when you're going out to battle.
Yeah, even people now like have their family on their shin pads and stuff like that. So
they have their own personalised shin pads.
Yeah, and I think about it a lot now.
Yeah.
I think about my career was great, and I was single for the majority, and I moved around a lot, and it's quite a burden, I think, for young families to have to do that. But then I think what inspiration it would have been to be playing when I had my children, and I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I used to go out there, and for my mum in particular, big influence, mates, but like having children is life changing, isn't it? Like incredible thing. So to have my
How old's yours now?
I've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. My 3-year-old's 4 next month, and he's just like football mad already. So to think like what inspiration and what motivation that would have given me. So you can never have regrets in that regard, because my life has panned out the way it has, for a reason. I believe all that. But I think it does give some lads that extra few percent.
I'd agree with that, to be fair, from seeing.
And also in the mornings, like I used to be like that, wake up thinking about the game. And you could get to a game, you'd be knackered. Because I've been like...
I suppose it would be a bit of a distraction.
Oh, you're drained. And then especially, like I always said later on in the career, when you're thinking, am I going to be playing? Am I on the bench? Am I going to get on? All that. And you use up all your energy before the game. Getting there, and I'm like that when the manager's naming the 18. Like, am I made the bench today?
That's what I'm quite interested to know, actually.
But lads with kids, they're like down the park in the morning. Their focus is on the real things in life, not whether you're going to score from a corner or not.
That is true. But what I was interested to know is, you just said that, so throughout your career, how did you know you were going to be in the team on a Saturday? Like throughout your career, how often did you know that you were going to play on a Saturday? Or did it differ quite a bit? Because obviously nowadays you pretty much, it differs slightly.
Before,
but we've had it where players haven't known they're playing. We've had it where they've known they're playing.
I'd say it was a rarity to find out on the day, but I've still had a few, what would you call it in the trade, custard pies. A few where I've turned up and you're like, you cannot believe you're not in the 18. I'd won the League Cup semi-final that I spoke of earlier. Wasn't in the 18.
Mad.
And I come on in the final, and obviously it was in Glasgow at Hampden Park. So I had friends from up there, family, nephew who was probably 2, come up. Wasn't in the 18. I was like devastated. Like, you can't believe the devastation. But I didn't always do this. But for the next month, I was on it in training. Every minute I got, I said, that is not happening to me again. And then obviously I was on the bench and come on in the final. And my manager, Samir and Danny Lennon, spoke to me afterwards, and he just said to me, what an example of someone taking a negative. And I weren't always like that. Sometimes I'd be like, stop that. But I just I can't feel like that again. So I think normally you'd know if you were playing here. Obviously Kingy would play me even though I had one leg, but
of course.
Ipswich, there was a couple of hammer blows there as well. And then I just had so many indifferent seasons after the injuries that it was never a given I was going to play. I had periods where I knew I was pretty important, but then probably at Exeter at the end, didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue whether I'd start.
Who was your gaffer there?
Paul Tisdale.
Right.
Even when I was out of the picture, you have that where you think, is this going to be the week? I banged in a hat-trick in training in the 11v11, like maybe I'm in. And I'd always have that. I think that's the internal battle all footballers go through,
100%.
Especially ones that are out the side. You're thinking you can have as many conversations as you want with a manager, but when there's contracts, money, the logistical aspects that goes into management, there's so many politics that go in, and obviously your form is the most important thing that determines if you're in the side or not.
There's a lot of different factors that factor into it as well.
I think there are. So I would just, you'd be optimistic every week. And so I think that, to be honest, that was a big part of why I decided to finish when I did. The physical problems were getting harder and harder to overcome, but mentally as well, you're thinking, I'm getting on for 2 minutes here. For example, I had Tom Nichols around the team playing. Ollie Watkins was coming through. Think,
mental.
What's the point in me coming on for 2 minutes and being miserable all week when these guys can be actually learning and progressing?
100%. One thing I want to talk about, or a player I want to talk about before we move on to what you're doing now, and then the quiz, which is me against you. By the way,
I've embarrassed myself already. I'm like,
it'll be fine. Right. Is Jimmy Davis? So, obviously coming on loan from Man United, was an incredible talent. I remember a game at Brentford where he just tore him to pieces. I think he scored 2 that day. in that navy blue thing with the red trim. Do you remember that massive kit? How good was he?
Yeah, well, he would have been really close to making the team. And I should have mentioned him because I wanted to mention a few of the Swindon lads who I really respected. Obviously, Steph Miliranzi was a big mate of mine. Steph was an incredible player.
Yeah, unbelievable player.
Incredible player. Danny, obviously, I loved once every 3 weeks. But yeah, and I spoke about James Milner earlier, but James here, as a talent.
Incredible.
But you could never envisage what he was going to go and achieve because he was pretty much the same as he is now. He was 7 out of 10, didn't really speak much, pretty good at everything, not outstanding at anything. And he's gone to the Premier League and continued doing that.
And been ridiculous. The amount of games he's played is
ridiculous. But you couldn't see that when he was here.
No, of course.
But with Jimmy, I hear it a lot now. People say don't fall in love with a lone player. When he probably only played 10 games?
Yeah,
maybe
10, 12, maybe.
I can't really recall exactly how long he was here for. He was here the opening day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know why his loan was cut short. He wasn't here at the tail end of the season, that's for sure. But it's just incredible. So quick to make his reputation here. Yeah. And I just remember so sharp. I remember us developed a good relationship on the pitch. Yeah. Liked a joke, liked to enjoy himself, settled in that regard around about the same time as I'd arrived as well. So we had a good squad, good atmosphere, and he fitted in like that, which was quite unique for a young lad coming from a Premier League team. But yeah, you can never say how many games he would have gone on to play for Man United and what have you, but surely he would have been a part of that squad. I think he was that good. So yeah, incredible. Terribly sad, and obviously another thing you think back over, when you're thinking back over your life and things that had a effect on you. Yeah. That was obviously it's his family who have been affected
for sure
forever by it. But in the short term, and obviously I still think about him. I'm sure the other lads do because that was a tragedy for us.
Just
but the short term, God, that had a real effect. I remember going out for that Sheffield Wednesday game.
Oh,
I wanted to be anywhere in the world but here, and obviously, I think my performance, because I can recall it because it was me. I was dreadful that day, but
were we 3-0 down?
We were 3-0 down, and we rallied, didn't we, and got 2 back.
Scored 2 back.
But I just remember thinking, I don't know how the rest of the lads were feeling. Obviously, Steve Robertson was close. Was close with him. Some other lads, they all kind of had a bit of a close knit crew, lived nearby and socialised together. Yeah, I think we struggled really for a few weeks.
Because again, there wasn't the Facebook and the social media type thing. So I was driving. We were coming up on the bus, and my mum rang and was like, "Oh, have you heard about Jimmy Davis?" We're like, "What about Jimmy Davis? He's on loan at Watford, and we tried to get him back, couldn't get him. He's gone there." And she said what had happened, and I was like, "What?" Then we get to the ground, and everyone's talking about him.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I think it broke on whatever the news medium we were using in those days that someone had been killed, and I think it broke that it was a Watford player, and obviously you kind of start thinking that someone's going to be travelling or whatever.
Yeah.
And Danny was there as well, wasn't he? Danny Webber, who I knew quite well at the time. At Chelsea, playing through the levels, I'd been on a few trips and played against Jimmy.
Right.
And Danny, and always just found them really sociable, really likeable, the pair of them. And to this day, I always will catch up with Danny. Those two were thick as thieves, best mates, I think. Yeah. Danny obviously went on and had a brilliant career. So I knew them a little bit. Yeah. So it was quite easy when he come here.
Of course.
So I think we had that bit of a rapport. But yeah, in terms of that age, how impressed I was by him, with the team, I wanted to go for people that made a mark on me. He would be in that conversation. Yeah. There's a few other lads, young lads. He would be one of the best young players I ever played with. Yeah, unquestionably. Yeah.
That's good to know because I've not had the chance to speak to a player that played with him before.
He used to run games, didn't he? Every time he'd get it, a bit like I was talking about Carlos earlier. Yeah, you give him the ball in the halfway line, he'd win you a pen, get a shot away or make a goal.
No one tackled him.
No, he was sharp. Bit like Gazza, the way he used to go past people. Arms, use his torso, but he was quicker. It would have been quicker than that as well. He was quite sharp. So that was a lot happened, didn't it, in those few years?
Yeah,
And
in a short space of time.
weirdly, I spoke to a family member of his not so long ago, and you think, wow, you remember that time, and they were a lovely family as well. We went up there and had a game, didn't we? And,
Redditch, wasn't it?
Yeah, Redditch,
Yeah, mad. Mad the things you remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't thought or spoken about that kind of time frame for a long time. But yeah, Redditch, everyone went up.
Went up and played a game,
Yeah, and all the fans went up, and it was unbelievable. All the money went to the
and you'll always,
family,
whenever you go past Redditch or whatever...
Yeah, whenever you see it on a sign on the...
That's like the only... Yeah, I think in this game you know most A and B roads and motorways, don't you? And places.
Oh, do we?
And places in the country, and you've got like a night out or a game or something like that. But Redditch will always be Jimmy. Yeah, I've got no other connotations to that place.
No.
Yeah,
But there you go.
No M7 though, is there?
No, there's no M7.
M7.
Yeah,
We're talking about roads.
Yeah.
There's no
Is that the
M7.
quiz? I'll beat you at that. Should have done a quiz
Quiz
on
on
roads.
roads. We all would have been good at that. So what are you doing now?
Yeah.
Because my first memory
I don't know why I
as
paused there. Yeah,
with
go on.
you being in the media,
Yeah.
I'm watching the MLS
Yeah.
on TV, and you're doing co-coms, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sure that's Sam's voice.
Is it any good?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so I suppose like the co-commentary is a big part of what I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, when I first stopped playing, I probably wasn't sure that was going to fulfil me, if I'm being brutally honest. I found it challenging. I really enjoyed it, and I started doing some games when Cooper and Luke Williams were the management duo here when I was at Exeter. So obviously it was on my way back to London. Yeah. So through the BBC and Sean, obviously I spoke and said, could I come in and do some games? They did. I did a few Football League trophy games and probably the odd league game that year. So I'd started doing a little bit. In Scotland, I'd done the odd show for the BBC. I'd done some writing. I'd done some writing quite a lot throughout my career. And always enjoyed it. So, yeah, I had an eye on the future and what I wanted to do. You're never quite sure. So that was the start of it. Obviously, the BBC invested quite heavily in me early on. I mean, put a lot of trust in me. And I did a lot of training and what have you there, which was just a brilliant decision. And I got in at Chelsea quite early, given that I was a product of their youth team, their academy. Got in there covering games as well. So they were my kind of two off the bat. And it's just kind of built from there, really. But yeah, just going back to the co-commentary, it's a bigger business than I probably first recognised, and it's a tougher skill than I first realised.
Yeah,
you've got to be good. You've got to be obviously well researched, but like timing, relationship with the person you're working with, do's and don'ts. There's loads to understand, I think, before you become competent at it. So yeah, I love it now. I love going to games. And obviously there's so many different leagues, so many different mediums now that there's quite a lot of work out there, but it's so competitive that, I do struggle with it at times because you worry about the future and exactly what you're going to be doing. But I'd like to think that I'm doing a good job, quite a safe pair of hands. That's a big part of it as well, turning up, doing a good job. And I think I do those things. So no, I really enjoy it. I don't know exactly where the end goal is, but I'm really ambitious. One of my goals was 100% to be on the Football League highlight show. Yeah, I did that for a few years.
Yeah. John remembers that.
Always seen you on that.
Obviously, they've gone a bit of a different direction now, so that was a bit of a shame for me personally. But I had a great run on it. I had about 3 or 4 years doing it, and that was one of my goals. And my goal has always been to be a regular co-commentator on the TV games, and I've done a few for Sky. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and that was always one of my ambitions. So when I think about the last few years, it's been some tough times because it's tough for all of us when we finish. But yeah, when I take a step back, I think you've done some things that you really aspire to do. So we'll see. But I've got a young family as well. Obviously, you boys know that. So nothing prepares you for that. So that's a beauty of it because I've got a bit of spare time at home. Yeah. Obviously, I'm away at weekends quite a lot, but during the week I can take the reins really, and be really hands on, which is lovely. And when I do get an opportunity to breathe and think about things, you think that's quite a lot. Not a lot of parents get an opportunity to pick the kids up and whatever.
Like in this job.
Yeah.
Away all the time.
Yeah, doing podcasts like you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's it,
Tell you other half you're working. Yeah,
But
so
you know, we're away
yeah,
every other weekend.
yeah, of
We're
course.
like out at 7 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. back
Most
home at
parents,
7
that's the
o'clock
time,
in
innit?
the
At the
evening.
weekends, you
Yeah.
think you go down the park on the
Yeah.
weekend. You know, they're double teaming, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, at the moment, I'm away a lot, and my partner's got to take the reins on a Saturday and a Sunday. But that's the give and take, I suppose, because I'm the balance. Sorry, because I'm around a lot during the week. So it's a constant juggle. But no, it's not work really. What I'm doing at the moment.
As you said, you love football, so
Yeah, never do I leave the house and think I can't bother with this today. Never.
that's the same with me
same
every
with
day.
us,
Same,
yeah.
we're both the same.
Yeah, I'd like to be doing it more.
Yeah.
I haven't got enough work.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. But far from it. But when I am employed, when I'm going to games or whatever, or going to a studio, you just like, and going back to part of the answer. When I was a kid, I loved stats, league tables. I could go to QPR and QPR could lose 3-1, but Ferdinand would score, and I'd go, right, he's got 9 and 11 now. That was like, don't know what that was. It was probably, I love commentators. You know, I loved like Clive Tilsey and Brian Moore and Alan Parry and Gerald Sinstad, all those guys. I loved commentary. Obviously, I wouldn't say I was an anorak, I was just obsessed with football. So that's part. I love locking myself away now in the office and prepping for a game. Yeah, like
You just got that football brain though. Like
just like writing Charlie Austin scored how many, and he's just writing that. Like, I like doing that.
Yeah.
Not because I love Charlie. I love Charlie, but I just there's something within me. Like I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah. You are very similar, just from this conversation, to Charlie, really.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he ever goes down that route. And I know he's done a couple of TV bits.
Yeah, but he'd offend everyone though, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
he's too opinionated, Charlie. That's where we differ.
Yeah.
I did an interview with Charlie a few years ago, and I got that.
Yeah.
I got that. You know, having a chat with someone who played the same position, and like probably has lived very. Obviously, he's done it to a much higher level than me, but you know that single-mindedness and
for sure.
selfishness at times, walking into a bar after a game and forever the first question for the last 20 years for Charlie would have been, did you score today? And that's like, it can be quite draining when you ain't scoring.
Sure.
And this, it's part of the, that's a big part of the job. So Charlie will miss that because one thing I miss, like not scoring. Scoring a goal.
The feeling,
the lifestyle, maybe. You know, a little bit there with honesty. That's what you miss when you pack in, and obviously the adulation from the punters.
What we should have brought him was for Christmas. I got him Clive Tilsley's commentary notes from the 92-93 playoff final, and it's got every player and a bit about the player and the team and their form and all the stuff.
That'd have been an easy gig because there'd only been 12, right?
Yeah,
Chalky, 12.
Was there one sub or two?
It was just one.
It was just one, wasn't it? It was Chalky.
Was it Chalky?
Right, yeah.
Come on the pen.
Yeah, because we did a thing where we had to name the players, and I said Steve White, and I was wrong.
What a man! Love him.
But there you go. Should we go on to the quiz?
Yeah, I think it's time for the quiz, isn't it? So
before we do it, should we talk about our sponsors quickly? Yeah. So, In4Free are our principal sponsor. They're always a huge help. They come in and watch from time to time because that's nice for them to come and do. We've got Mad Mash Media, Matt Edwards, who's behind all the cameras making the amateur stuff we do look unbelievable. And then we've got Tithe Grove Groundworks that sponsor the quiz. So that leads us nicely into Jonah's quiz.
Good little setup you got here.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Food for thought, mate. This will be my podcast will look like this soon. Yeah. I'll have all those shirts I forgot to bring today.
It's all come together quite nicely over the years, to be fair. Great. But so we've got 5 questions.
What's on, Jonah?
So you should both know the answers really because
is it mainly Swindon?
Yes, sort of based around Swindon your time here to an extent, and obviously Steve was a fan, so
I was there watching.
I'm confident.
So I think it's fairly.
How are we doing this? Is it one each or
whatever he's decided on tonight?
So we've got the buzzer in the middle. So this question 1 is a buzzer question. So hands at the ready. We actually didn't speak about this, but obviously from Swindon you signed for Ipswich for $500,000, which is a lot of money back then. But what I want to know is, can you name 3 players to have played for both Swindon and Ipswich?
Oh my God.
I'll have a go.
Go on.
Roy Fallon is jumping out to me.
Yes.
Is it? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know you played there. That would have been my third.
There,
Oh, I
two
got
straight
that. Yeah, I
away.
got it.
there is a lot, by the way.
I got it. Yeah. Kev Horlock.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, this is a bit of a stab in the dark, but I'm going to go for it. Oh, did he play? Jonathan Douglas.
Yes. Yeah. There's
I couldn't see him in the Ipswich, but there was something in there.
there is a long list.
I was going with you. Luke Wolfenden, whose shirt is behind you.
That's all
But
on
we've
the
turned
way,
it
yeah.
Yeah,
around.
just to say name some more.
I nearly said Twiney for some reason. I was thinking, but he scored the banger there,
Scored
didn't he?
against-
Yeah.
To name some more recent ones, Brett Pittman played there. Zeki Fries, John Moncler, Massimo
I
Luongo.
played for Ipswich, didn't
Yeah,
I?
Massimo Luongo.
There's Ronan Murray as well.
Ronan Murray.
He was obviously
You got to press
So-
the buzzer there and just get your thinking time.
Yeah,
Johnny Williams as well. But yeah,
Wow.
one to you.
Comfortable win.
So question
Point.
question number 2: who scored more goals for Swindon from out of these 2 players? Was it A, Billy Painter, or B, Simon Cox?
Billy Painter.
He did, yeah. For a bonus point, how many?
Was that on the buzzer as well?
There, it was on the buzzer.
I'll let you have that.
So I should have said before.
Oh,
I'll come in on this.
You can come in
Is
on.
it closest gets the boner, yeah?
Yeah.
yeah, go on.
No, you have your guess and then I'll come in.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, see what I say and then just have a couple on.
No, what do you want to give us a little two?
2 leeway
Yeah,
to each
2
side.
leeway.
Oh, God. 51.
That's a good effort, I reckon.
Bang on 51.
Is it?
Oh, it's bang on. It's bang on
I
51.
thought it'd be 50s, yeah.
So-
I thought we were there, low 50s,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. That was a pure stab in the dark.
that's
It's just based on
outstanding.
3 seasons, and then I know there was a season where he scored 20. So
But yeah, he had 3 more than Simon Cox.
Very
Cox he had
impressive.
48. So
yeah, but he scored some bangers, didn't he? Coxey.
You get the bonus point for the
Yeah.
one there against Walsall, don't you?
Yeah,
That's
that's
against Clayton Ince, wasn't it?
Ridiculous.
question number 3. This is a who am I?
Oh,
So
Buzzer?
this is a buzzer. Yeah. So this player played for the following clubs in order:
oh,
Cardiff, on loan to Hereford, Exeter City, Bristol City, Swindon.
Christian Roberts.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, makes sense now, doesn't it?
Cardiff,
Obviously.
Bristol City,
yeah.
Swindon. Yeah.
What's that? 3-1 to you, is
Come
it,
on.
Steve?
He was another one a bit down here, Invincible-esque,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
days, whew, yeah, incredible player on his day.
Question number 4. In the 04-05 season,
Oh, God.
what was the highest attendance? Close.
A home game?
Yeah.
Gone early there, and I. 04-05, that's my last season. No idea, because it didn't say if it was legal.
I'll tell you what.
I'll just go for Bristol City.
No, the highest number. So what
And
we
what
do,
is it?
I should have said it isn't a buzzer question. I've messed this up. So that what
Oh,
was
I messed it up, sorry.
yeah.
Jonah.
So the actual attendance, we'll go whoever gets the closest. So the highest
Oh,
attendance
okay.
that year.
Sorry.
We'll go who's the
You're not going to
closest.
tell us who it was against?
Yeah, go
I
on.
know who it was
Go
against.
on,
It was
who was
against
it against?
Bournemouth.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, against Bournemouth must have been over Christmas, was it?
Possibly. I'm not sure, but I just know it was against Bournemouth. So we'll go whoever gets the closest.
It's Bournemouth. How many did we get in back then?
I'm going to say 9,432.
I'll go. Ooh. Closest to?
Yeah.
He's got 9. Oh, it'd be more than that.
Do you think?
More than 9?
Just to put it into context, your debut,
Yeah.
there was only
Was it 4?
5,700 and something here against
Really?
Barnsley. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going more. 10.
It was 8,275, and that was the
That's
highest that
low.
year.
You've literally tried to give me that, haven't you?
Yeah, he's tried.
Yeah.
I tried to help you get back.
Yeah,
in
I
that,
know.
but-
Is there any
yeah.
more? Can I get back in it?
We've got one more question.
Oh, right.
so
3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. Yeah, we did this last time. Brilliant.
We'll do it anyway. This is a buzzer question, sorry. This is a never played for. So he played for the following clubs in this order as well. So he started Bristol Rovers, went to Torquay, Reading, Swindon, Swansea, come back on loan to Swindon from Swansea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank
yeah.
you.
All right, yeah.
Goins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had mentioned him. So what was the What, 4-2 was it?
4-2.
Steve won a quiz.
I won a quiz.
Just
Do you normally get beaten?
Oh, I always
I
get
don't. I
beaten.
can't remember the last time you won one. To be fair.
Wow.
No,
What's this all about?
Genuinely can't remember the last time. It usually ends in you.
Losing my head
Yeah,
and
losing
going
your head
off
with me,
because
so-
I'm
Yeah.
cheated out of a win.
I didn't think I was too bad either. I've
No,
lost
you've
that,
done all
and
right.
the shirt is the worst ever.
Well,
I'm thinking like the modern day player though. They're
they're on
I don't
it.
know,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I should have picked Naughty's football kits
Yeah.
because then you'd have probably would have played in and against.
It's just funny how funny how that's your thing, innit? As me, I could probably be at a game and not really taking the sponsor.
Yeah.
You know,
Whereas we like.
the shirt numbers is one
Yeah.
as well. Matt Davis Adams, who I work with at Chelsea and do the EFL podcast with, like squad number loves it.
Yeah. Oh, we could tell you every
Like,
squad number of
will
every
give me
player.
10 players that have won the 8 for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know one. Just
Yeah.
not my thing.
But-
We
play-
need to do a quiz somewhere.
Yeah.
Where we go through squad numbers of people that have played there, and we
People love that.
But players
Yeah,
love
well,
shirts now. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if it was like it when you played, but
How could I?
just,
yeah, have you seen them?
but like players like swapping shirts these days. They always want to take their shirt home, which does our head in. But they just the amount of players that are swapping shirts, like with players that they used to play with and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's mental.
It's great. They seem to love it these days.
Well, I've won a quiz,
Well done, mate.
so I'm chuffed.
Yeah, we'll take that.
I'll
I think
take
it's
that.
about time. to be
It's,
fair.
oh, cheers, mate. Why is he coming for me? But brilliant. It's been an absolute pleasure, Sam.
No
Thanks for
worries.
coming in. Don't forget to send that shirt.
I will do that. I'll give you a little taste in there with some biscuits,
Oh,
just
I
to
love
say
it. He
sorry.
did.
But I
He brought
will.
the
I will
biscuits.
give you a shirt. Absolutely, no problem.
No, brilliant. Cheers for your time, Sam. It's been a pleasure.
No worries.
We'll see you all next time for another episode of Live for Kitman.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.